o'clock on July 19th, 2011. This is regular session number 7. Opening session at 7 o'clock, as it is, and we're going to call upon our good friend Michael Stevens, who is the pastor at Southwood United Church of Christ, to deliver our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Thank you. I just had 2 quick celebrations. One, I'm presently the president of the Interfaith Alliance that plans the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast every year. Last week, we had our 2nd annual gathering that was interracial in its component for worship and a picnic, trying to break down some of the barriers that divide our community, but also too often divide our faith communities as well. Also, there's several churches, many that are represented here in the room, that are participating all through the summer, giving out 250 to 350 lunches every day at apartments to children that I am sure would go without those good deeds of people here in our community. Let us pray. Creator God, creating still by will, word, and create a new humanity. We ask this day that by your Spirit you might discern the needs that are around us. You might give us a spirit of brevity in our conversations, a spirit of patience and understanding. We might seek the common good that unfolds in our community for all people that are so very, very different. Thank you for the rhythm of your presence here in this summertime, as we remember our childhoods when this was a season of play and joy and laughter. And we embrace your sense of joy and life. These things we pray as we gather. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. I ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Alderman Mock.
Here.
Alderman Perdue.
Here.
Alderman Lightfoot.
Here.
Alderman Nelson.
Here.
Alderman Hamilton.
Here.
Alderman Van Buskirk.
Here.
Alderman Kramer.
Here.
Alderman Azier.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Alderman Ertz.
Here.
We have a quorum. At this time, I'm going to ask that Jeremy Wilmoth, our Director of Finances, to meet me at the podium, please. Jeremy, congratulations again are in order. The 3rd year in a row that in your department of Raytown have been bestowed upon this Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. It's a high mark that many cities aspire to achieve. You have brought us professionalism. Everything that you do in that department is respectful, professional, done. I thank you on behalf of the board for all that you do in your department members as well. Whereas the Governmental Finance Officers Association, otherwise known as the GFOA, is a nonprofit professional association serving over 17,600 government finance professionals and government entities of all levels throughout North America. Whereas the GFOA encourages state and local governments to prepare and issue top-quality budget documents, which contributes essentially to better financial decision-making and enhanced accountability. Whereas in 1984, the GFOA developed and launched the Distinguished Budget Presentation Awards Program to promote and recognize agencies that prepare high-quality budget documents. Whereas this award is the highest form of recognition of any governmental budget, its attainment represents a significant achievement. Whereas in order to receive this award, a budget document must meet program criteria as a policy document, as an operations guide, as a financial plan, as well as a communications device. Whereas for the 3rd consecutive year, the GFOA has bestowed upon the City of Raytown the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for fiscal year 2010-2011. I therefore, David Barra, Mayor of the City of Raytown, along with the Board of Aldermen, hereby recognize and congratulate the Raytown Finance Department on their commitment in pursuing the highest principles of government budgeting practices, and wish to thank you, Jeremy, Finance Department Director, Finance Department, and the entire senior staff for their professionalism, dedicated work to the budget process.
Thank you, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. I accept this award on behalf of the hardworking men and women of the Finance Department, but also the entire city. The budget document, as you know, is a labor of love, but it's one that is crafted not only by the Finance Department, but each and every department has a stake and an ownership in ensuring that the document has quality goals, objectives, performance measures, overall, that each department has a vested interest in making sure that your goals that you set in June are carried out through each department, through everything that we do. So, though this award goes to the Finance Department, it would not be possible without the cooperation and the vision of Mahesh, our City Administrator, and also each of the departments that help contribute to the data gathering and collection of the information. Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time we're going to open up the podium for public comments. We've got one person that has signed up so far. Andy, would you like to address the board at this time, please? Always good to see you, Andy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Alder people. First, I'd like to congratulate Jeremy and the Finance Department on his award. What I recognize in Jeremy is that every time he's done a budget presentation, it's been in plain English that the average person could understand. That's really important because most people don't understand what's being said. It has come to my attention that the city disposes of vehicles at 75,000 miles. To me, this is wasteful spending. The average peasant cannot afford to buy a new car. I bought my car with 70,000 miles, and it now has 98,500. The exception would be police and our EMS vehicles because they have heavy usage, idling, and I see no reason to replace normal use vehicles at 75,000 miles. I don't know if this is true, but it was alleged by a poster in the Raytown Report that department heads are taking city vehicles home. If this is true, this practice should be stopped immediately. City vehicles should be used for city business only. This could be accomplished by department heads using from a motor pool or mileage reimbursement for miles driven on city business, along with a brief explanation of the trip. This board is custodian of the taxpayers' money. As the taxpayer, I strongly object to wasting it on dumping serviceable vehicles or department heads driving vehicles home. The Public Water District in Raytown is using a hybrid vehicles to achieve an energy savings. I don't feel hybrids are feasible for emergency vehicles, but I suggest that hybrids be investigated for normal use vehicles. You may have noticed that the price of gas is way up. The high use of these vehicles and energy savings, it would be achieved along with a cleaner environment. On many occasions, I have observed older people having a private conversation during the meeting. These are public meetings, and I consider private dialogue as improper. An older person should address any comments so the public may hear it. As the last meeting, there was a public hearing for a conditional use permit. I observed private conversations, but obviously could not hear them. Since these remarks were not open to the public, I feel this public hearing and vote should be declared null and void. Reschedule this new public hearing. I brought this to the attention of a city official for no response. There are too many comments. There were many comments to the impact of the neighborhood, and I'm talking about the application for the conditional use permit of the Transitional Living Center. The state as a family. I view the Traditional Living Center as a quiet, family-type neighbor. I would welcome them to be my neighbor. There was concern about ambulance calls, grocery deliveries, pharmacy deliveries, doctor's visits, grooming people, etc. These are all normal for any residents, and I feel these questions were improper. I have a neighbor who has had frequent ambulance visits. Normally, I was unaware of this unless I looked out at the window at 2 a.m. Again, this is normal traffic for any resident. I also question if the signature on the petition that was presented to the public hearing were validated. I was advised that possibly some of the signatures were not from the resident and or they were visitors at the home who signed the owner's name. The signatures on every petition should be validated. The petition must be rejected if the signatures are not genuine. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Would anyone else in the audience like to address the board at this time? Okay, none appearing. I'm going to move on. In the form of communication from the mayor, I want to congratulate our arts community, Raytown Arts Council is an amazing group. I was able to spend the Sunday matinee observing the performance of yet another good musical put on by this group, Hello Dolly, and I did see a number of the aldermen there as well, and those that did attend. I appreciate it. This is a fantastic opportunity for our community to get out, one as a whole, but two, to appreciate the arts that we're so lucky to have and fortunate to have within our city. It's a fantastic program. My compliments go to all of those who were involved and all those who continue to support the arts in our community. With that, Mahesh, I'm going to turn it over to you for city administration.
Good evening, Mayor Bauer and Board of Aldermen. As Pastor Michael Stevenson mentioned tonight during the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance regarding the program that various churches get together and does for the summer school lunch program, several staff members volunteered their time last week, Monday and Tuesday, to assist that particular program. And volunteers made and bagged sandwiches, built luncheon, and assisted in their distribution. The 2 days that we participated in that program, we made well over 950 sandwiches or bags. Also, certificate of occupancy for the new IHOP restaurant that is going on at Raytown Road and 350 Highway was issued by the Community Development Department on Tuesday, July 12th. IHOP is making all the preparation to open that restaurant on Monday, July 25th. I also mentioned during my city administrator report regarding City of Lee Summit decided not to pursue a project that had been awarded a transportation enhancement grant and has returned approximately $400,000 to the committee. The committee made a motion to the next highest ranked project should receive the funding. The next highest rated project is Raytown's Downtown Streetscape project. And so Public Works and Community Development are providing necessary documents to the MoDOT and Mid-America Regional Council to finalize the project if and when the funding would become available. And there is seems like a very good chance that Raytown might be able to secure, if not some, maybe the entire funding that is available. So I just wanted to share that news with the board, and with that I will also like to mention one more item before I conclude is Missouri Municipal League provide a scholarship towards the education. That's about 4 scholarships to the entire state of Missouri. And I'm happy to report that one of our employees has received a $500 scholarship towards education. Like I said, it's the entire statewide, and we are happy that one of our employees were able to secure that grant. With that, I will conclude my report.
Very good news. Thank you. We'll go to committee reports. Mr. Mock, anything on Council on the Aging?
Yeah, Council on the Aging will be meeting this Thursday, the 21st, at 4:15 here.
Mr. Lightfoot, Legislative.
Yes, we did have a legislative meeting last week. The topic of discussion was redistricting. We had several of our state representatives there, so we got to kind of view the maps of the Democrat and Republican proposals. We're going to work on drafting our own resolution for what we think would be best to represent Raytown. We've spoken with former legislators and current on what they thought would be best for us, and we're working on it now.
Good, thank you, sir. Mr. Pardue, anything from the HRC?
Yes, the Human Relations Commission will be meeting this Thursday at City Hall at 6 p.m.
Mr. Kramer, anything to report from the meeting with the Parks Department?
We had a meeting with Parks Department last night, general housekeeping type stuff, nothing new to report.
Okay. Any other committee reports? Okay, we'll move on. We're in the legislative session now. We have the consent agenda before us and only the item pertaining to the previous minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Kramer has a motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Van Buskirk, to approve the consent agenda. Discussion before we vote. Call the vote, please.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk?
Yes.
Alderman Melson?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Alderman Azier?
Yes.
Alderman Mock?
Yes.
Alderman Pardue?
Yes.
Alderman Ertz?
Yes.
Alderman Hamilton?
Yes.
Alderman White?
Yes.
Move to the regular agenda at this time, and I'll ask the clerk to perform the reading on item number 2.
A resolution declaring certain property owned by the City of Raytown as surplus and authorizing disposition of such property by auction.
Mr. Knoll is our Public Works Director. Anything to add, sir?
Yes, sir. At the previous work session, there were a couple of questions raised that we weren't able to answer on the spot. One of those was, how do we determine which vehicles get replaced? We do have a general schedule that we follow that applies for all of our vehicles and equipment, but the most vehicles that we're replacing are general cars, then police interceptor vehicles, and then trucks. First, what we do is we look at these schedule. For example, cars and vans, the schedule is stated at 75,000 miles or 7 years, whichever comes first, that we should look at that for replacement. Police interceptor vehicles is 100,000 miles or 4 years, and then trucks typically are around 100,000 miles and 12 years, and then ambulances are 100,000 miles or 5 years. These were established by Tony Mesa several years ago through extensive research of what other cities, what other municipalities, entities throughout the state as well as the region follow. And the objective of those schedule is to provide us with a reliable and cost-effective fleet for the city. One that provides us with equipment that is running and useful when we need it, and that also minimizes our repair costs. What we try to do is we can budget for periodic maintenance that we know needs to happen, but scheduling for higher mileage vehicles that may lose a transmission or things of that nature can really play havoc on the repair budgets for any of the departments. Then also, in addition to that, a lot of our police vehicles spend a significant amount of time idling, and also idling, and then they're also in high rev situations. They're trying to respond to a call. So those are in severe duty vehicles. And as an example, on the attached Schedule A, 2 of these vehicles are 2008 Crown Vic police interceptors. In 2008, 2007, somewhere around that range, these vehicles are equipped with an hour meter on the engine, so you can keep track of how many hours are actually on the engine. A typical gasoline engine in what I would call a commuter vehicle will have somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 miles, was about the life of that motor through some research. Unit 104 has 5,000 hours on it, and then Unit 109 has 6,136 hours. So not only do they spend a lot of time idling, but then when they are used, it's in a high rev situation trying to respond to a call. So we use those schedules to identify the vehicles that we believe need to be replaced, and then we look at the maintenance history of those vehicles through our maintenance software and identify if there's 2 or 3 that need to be replaced and we only have funds to replace, let's say, 2 of them. we try to identify the one that's had the most repairs required as the one that will be replaced. So that's basically how we go through the process of replacing vehicles. And then also, we found some more information on the Purple Wave auction facility. We've had 4 groups of vehicles and equipment sold through that auction. 10 vehicles have netted $29,250 this year for an average of $2,925. And then we've sold assorted equipment that we no longer use for the remaining $4,100. So far this year, we've netted $33,370 on vehicles and equipment that we no longer utilize in the city. So here to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions, Mr. Knoll. Mr. Van Buskirk.
You may not be able to answer this question, but the Police Department Unit 126, the 2001 Ford Taurus, was 66,493 miles. I'm curious as to how that was used or what it was used for, that it only has 66,000 miles or slightly over that over a period of 10 years. That just seems like extraordinarily low usage. Do you happen to know?
I don't know the exact usage of that particular vehicle. I know most of the Tauruses are used by the detective units, and that's about all I can really say for this one, for this particular vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Melson.
On the $33,000 that was net on selling of the vehicles, where does that money go back into? Is that for replacement or?
Yes, I believe it goes, if I state this incorrectly, Jeremy Wilmoth will correct me, but it goes into capital replacement fund, the capital sales tax, where most of these vehicles now have been purchased through the capital sales tax fund. So the revenue that's generated from the sale of that goes back into that same fund where that purchased the vehicle is the objective.
Okay,
so.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Kramer has a motion to approve, second by Ms. White. Discussion before we vote on item number 2. Call the vote, please.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman White?
Yes.
Alderman Hamilton?
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk?
Yes.
Alderman Pardue?
Yes.
Alderman Ertz?
Yes.
Alderman Azier?
Yes.
Alderman Mock?
Yes.
Alderman Melson?
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot?
Yes.
Item number 3, please.
A resolution amending the fiscal year 2010-2011 budget by transferring $6,500 from the storm sewer repair line item to the building maintenance supplies line item within the Public Works Department budget.
Mr. Knoll, anything to add, sir?
This is to provide for more funds for the maintenance of the basically City Hall. This is the line item that we purchase all of our cleaning supplies out, the paper towels, the toilet paper, all of those necessities that make the facility function. Those prices have been increasing significantly in the past year. And when we create the budget line item for this, we look at what we've spent the last year. And when we created this budget, we were looking at a 1.5-year old data. So it's kind of caught up with us this year, and we need to move funds around so we can continue operations. Here to answer any other questions you may have.
Mr. Pardue.
I move we approve the resolution.
I think Joe had it. Mr. Pardue has a motion to approve, seconded by Mr. Kramer. Discussion before we vote on item number 3. Ms. Melson.
Since the prices have increased for that, is that something that you guys, that staff goes to like Costco or something, or do you get through a supplier?
We buy it from many different vendors. We go out and try to find the lowest price for those products. Some of it's through the Office Depot. Some of it's through specific vendors for hand towels. Other things are through Hilliard Chemical for cleaning supplies. So we spend quite a bit of time trying to find the low price.
This is like a 1.5-year old data, so are y'all going to go and redo that data to current prices for the budget year?
Yeah, correct. Instead of looking at just historical data, we're going to look at what the unit cost for each item is and how much we've been spending, so how much we've been purchasing, so that we can get a much better feel for that for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the vote, please.
Alderman Pardue?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Azier,
Yes.
Alderman Hamilton,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Alderman Melson,
Yes.
Alderman Ertz,
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk,
Yes.
Alderman Mock,
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot,
Yes.
Item number 4, please.
an ordinance establishing a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials in the city of Wright Town, Missouri.
Ms. Henry, would you like to further elaborate on this?
I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Okay, discussion on item 4 or questions?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Kramer has a motion to approve, second by Mr. Pardue. Discussion on item number 4 before we vote. Call the vote, please.
Alderman Kramer,
Yes.
Alderman Pardue,
Yes.
Alderman Azier,
Yes.
Alderman Hamilton,
Yes.
Alderman White,
Yes.
Alderman Melson,
Yes.
Alderman Ertz,
Yes.
Alderman Van Buskirk,
Yes.
Alderman Mock,
Yes.
Alderman Lightfoot,
Yes.
If there's no further business to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion is made by the right side, seconded by the left side for adjournment at 7:27 my time. All in favor signify by saying aye.